Hello, and welcome to Rtyuiope's Game Room. I, of course, am Rtyuiope, and this, of course, is my game room. Last month, on the year of Megaten, we talked about books and manga in the Megami Tensei franchise, and today, I'd like to talk about something a little similar. Today, we're going to be talking about OVAs, TV series, and anime that are in the Megami Tensei franchise. Now, many of you have probably heard of the Persona 4 and Persona 4 Golden animation, but believe it or not, there's actually quite a few more Megami Tensei things out there than just those. Today I'd like to show you a bit more of the obscure ones. So, without further ado, let's take a look at a few of these Megami Tensei media pieces. Similar to my books video, let's first start with Digital Devil story Megami Tensei. The OVA came out around the same time as the video game and covers the exact same story as the book. Nakajima is a high school student who makes a pact with a demon to torture his bullies at the expense of some innocent girls being used as sacrifices. After the demon sets his eyes on Nakajima's crush, Yumiko, Nakajima has to face his actions to stop the demon from further harming anyone else, including Yumiko. This film is directed by Mizuo Nishikubo, who directed other anime productions such as Giovanni's Island and some advertisements for companies like Mercedes-Benz. This film is average overall and isn't really anything special besides the 80s sounding OST. It kinda emulates an early Famicom sounding soundtrack. Now, normally I wouldn't condone this kind of behavior, but seeing that this OVA was never really released stateside and in fact hasn't had many printings since its initial release, I'd say go ahead and look for it online if you're truly curious. There exist sub-versions of it online, so you're in luck if you don't speak Japanese. Next, I'd like to talk about a rather weird entry onto this list, and that's Shin Megami Tensei Tokyo Revelation, or as it's better known stateside, just Tokyo Revelation. Tokyo Revelation is an adaptation of the manga Shin Megami Tensei Tokyo Revelation, which is a loose retelling of SMT1, and contains elements from various other Megami Tensei properties at the time. The reason for this is because it was written by Kazunari Suzuki, who was a scenario writer for a few of the Megami Tensei video games at the time, such as Megami Tensei and SMT2. The film starts when a character summons a demon on an airplane to kill all the passengers as a sacrifice to the demon Ose, or in the American dub, Satan. The story then shifts focus onto the protagonist, Kojiro, who is a student who has many visions about the impending apocalypse. Things start to go south for Kojiro when he is attacked by a Cerberus, which is then sealed away inside of him and becomes his protector. There's a whole lot more to this movie, and it's quite enjoyable actually, so I won't give away the whole plot. But you can still pick up this movie for relatively cheap on VHS or DVD stateside. And a bonus little fact, Tokyo Revelation's English script was actually written by Richard Epcar, who many of you may know as Ansem from the Kingdom Hearts series. What I did not know is that he actually voiced Baofu in Persona 2 Eternal Punishment. Actually, I got a chance to meet the man himself at a local convention and got him to sign my copy of Kingdom Hearts 2. But of course, it was only afterwards that I realized that he both voiced Baofu and helped bring Tokyo Revelations to America, which is one of the first SMT related projects in America. So basically what I'm trying to say is I met one of the guys responsible for bringing SMT to America and I didn't even know it. And I'm kinda punching myself over it now, that's for sure. But hey, you know it's a good anime that many people hold dear to their hearts? Based off a game much like the first anime, but this series is significantly shorter than the original Devil Children anime, only lasting about 26 episodes. As far as I can tell, there are exactly 0 episodes of this show online. There may be some somewhere, but I haven't been able to find any. This series follows 3 children this time, Jun, Akira, and Lena. One day they find a mysterious book which zaps them into the demon world from the previous anime. Apparently the series ends on a cliffhanger where Lena is brainwashed by Metatron and that's it, which kinda sucks because I'm not a big fan of cliffhanger endings, especially when they're unintended. So, like I said earlier, there's obviously a ton of anime based off the Persona series, such as Persona 4, Persona 4 Golden, Persona 5 The Daybreakers, Persona 5 The Animation, the Persona 3 movies, but there's actually 2 animations which are often looked over, one of which suffered from its intense mediocrity, and while the other one which is just looked over because no one cares about Persona 2. But first, let's talk about the mediocre one. Many Megaten fans know where I'm going with this. And yep, that's right, it's Persona Trinity Soul. Persona Trinity Soul was an anime that was produced after the surprise success of Persona 3 and serves as a sort of sequel to Persona 3. The anime was overseen by Katsura Hashino, and some of the designs were done by Soejima himself. So, what went wrong? Well, mainly the continuity errors that you would not think that they would have looked over, such as adults not being able to use personas. You see, what's odd about that is that Persona 2 features a predominantly adult cast who all use personas, so we end up seeing Akihiko not being able to use his persona anymore, which is really weird. The plot is also very simple. It just follows the main character and his brothers, who all have persona abilities, and end up being tangled into a rogue persona-wielding group who commits crimes, very similar to Strega from Persona 3. Where the series fails at with its story and continuity errors makes up for the engaging music and stylish designs. At first it was considered canon, but is no longer such, especially with the arena games out, which basically rewrote what C's has become in comparison to what they are in Trinity Soul. Now, some people will make the argument that it's an alternate universe scenario, but that would still leave it with the glaring continuity errors about Persona 2. Speaking of Persona 2, there was a very short animation produced for it. If you got the American release of Persona 2, you end up with a bonus disc which contains something called the anime trailer. This threw a lot of people off and led a large misconception that Persona 2 was actually gonna have an anime, but that, my friends, is incorrect. In fact, it means that it's an anime trailer for the game, much like there's animated trailers for games today. Story-wise, it doesn't do much except just show off the characters of Persona 2 doing cool stuff. It's a pretty awesome video if you're a Persona 2 fan such as myself, and will leave you wanting a Persona 2 animation, but sadly, at this time, that will never happen. Now, for a majority of this video, I've been talking about obscure anime. But there is actually one TV show that most Megami Tensei fans aren't even aware of. There exists a live-action Devil Summoner TV show. Oh yeah, it's that weird. Obviously, it's based off the video game of the same name. It originally had a 15-episode run, and believe it or not, due to popular demand, the show was actually revived for 13 more episodes. The first season followed the game's plot pretty closely, which follows Kyoji Kuzunoha, a detective possessed by the spirit of someone killed by a demon. Kyoji is a supernatural detective who deals with the occult with his assistant Rei Reiho, kinda similar to Constantine. The second season follows more of its own storyline. In the series, many Persona references are made, even the inclusion of Persona 1's protagonist's bonus persona, Vishnu. Fun piece of trivia is that both Koji Okada and Kazuma Kaneko both make appearances in the first episode. I haven't been able to find a subbed version of the show online, so I can't give a critique on the series' story, but what I can tell you is that the visuals are not the best, along with some of the shots and acting. But what do you expect from a live-action TV production from the 90s? Around this time, however, there was a few live-action trailers for Persona 1 and Persona 2, which featured similar visuals as the Devil Summoner TV show. A few years later, there was a cool one for Nocturne, which actually looks a little better, if I do say so myself. These are just a few of the anime and TV series in the Megami Tensei series. There are obviously more, but these are just the ones that I found the most interesting. Did I miss any of the shows that you were hoping to see? Let me know in the comments section down below. And next month's video, I'll be looking into more obscure merchandise for the Megami Tensei franchise. And as always, this is Rtyuiope from Rtyuiope's Game Room, signing off.